Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Anderson, and for this discussion post, I chose the Holiness denomination. I chose it for a personal reason. My best friend is Holiness, and I was always interested about it growing up. We always talked about each other's religions because I grew up Baptist and she grew up Holiness, and she always knew the theology behind it actually really well. Her grandfather was the preacher, so she had to, but she never knew the historical foundings of it. I didn't always was interested. Where did it begin? Why did it begin? Why did they think the way they thought? So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to learn more. So here we go. It began in the 1840s, truly, but there are historical remnants about it from the 1760s. But anyways, we'll go with the 1840s one. It started during the Second Great Awakening at camp meetings, and two of the main leaders were Phoebe Palmer and her husband, Dr. Walter Palmer. It spurred off from a Methodist movement into many denominations of holiness, actually, and they wanted to go back to that Wesleyan thought of perfect love, and they believe this second work of grace, which essentially takes away their will to sin. And while reading about it, I kept reading this thing about instantaneous conversion. And I'm thinking it goes back to this thing where my friends, they would get calls and be like, oh, my friend got the Holy Spirit. And I never knew what that meant. And she couldn't explain it to me fully. Now, to be fair, she was like 12. So I actually texted her about this to ask her questions. But anyways, it's hard to do that over text, but she could never explain to me what it truly meant. And I'm thinking this is what it was instantaneous conversion. Like it was a big thing. And one of her other best friends got the Holy Spirit, and she was like in tears about it, just so happy. Anyways, more theology. More of the theology is very modest. They're very conservative. They do the long skirts, much like Pentecostal. They do the long hair, never cut it. They couldn't wear makeup. They couldn't dye their hair. They couldn't get like perms. They couldn't do anything that was semi-permanent or permanent, like tattoos on their body. They wanted to keep it as natural and as godly as possible. And actually, growing up, she was quite the rebel, and she would wear natural makeup and paint her fingernails clear. And she got in trouble for it a few times. It was quite funny. But anyways, while they did start in the 1840s, they really began to pick up speed in 1867 during their revivals. Revivals are still a very big thing in their religion. I know growing up in the Baptist church, I went to a few revivals, but they have like 10 plus a year, like a lot. They would travel as far as Texas, which we're from Georgia, and they would go and spend the night at people's houses. And I remember people spending the night at their house. They would all get together and fix all three meals. They would eat lunch at the church. I mean, they were there from like morning to night during a revival, and it'd be like a week long thing. And I remember my revivals growing up were like after work from like 5 to like 7, but theirs was all day, and their friends would spend the night, and they would have this massive sleepover, and it seemed so fun. I was like really, really jealous. I did not get to be involved. But anyways, now, as I said before, there were many denominations that were spurred from the holiness movement, and according to the World Council of Churches, they are actually worldwide, having churches in over 160 nations. The movement being largely in Germany, Switzerland, and England. And surprisingly to me, I don't know why, but there are 3 million adherents in Korea, which is massive. But anyways, they say there are 12 million in all that adhere to the holiness religion, 21 differing denominations, and hundreds of independents that are not involved in an organization. And I have a feeling my friends is not involved in an organization, because when I talked to her about the organizations, she had no idea what I was talking about. But I thought that was interesting that they have independent movements like that. And then, anyways, I just thought this was very fascinating, especially having a personal attachment to it. But I hope everyone has a great day and a great semester. Bye, y'all.